for the last time in 2023, we check in with the great James Mennie. Oh, James.
Yes, David.
I must begin our conversation, our last of the year, with an apology.
Uh-oh.
I apologize to you, sir, for forgetting to wish you a happy birthday yesterday.
Oh, you'd be surprised how many people, like, it's kind of a joke because it was CJAD. This has always been, if people who are born between Christmas and New Year's go through this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm smack in the middle, David.
Right.
And I would complain about this on air, so of course people would go on social media, oh, happy birthday, blah, 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 blah. And now it kind of continues.
Mm-hmm.
But because there is this core of people who are realizing that, if you don't wish him happy birthday, he's going to scream like a banshee for 3 days. So, I get all these, and I appreciate them all, and I've still got them. It's all really great. All that said, I was hoping, to come in here and be very ethereal and philosophical and all that. You saw the latest news out of the FEEC, right? They told the government to take a walk. So there's something else that we can look forward to in 2024. We for a while there, it looked like it was all going to close and snap into place. But to be honest, and when I talk about the FEEC, folks, it's the nurses union. It's for medical professionals, but it's a lot of nurses, and essentially they've been lied to for 4 years by this government.
Yeah.
So they're not in the mood to mess about. They know that they're subject to the essential services regulations, which is fine. But I think at this point they got nothing to lose. So as much as perhaps Francois Legault wanted to think he would be entering 2024 with one less headache, I don't think that is going to be in the cards for him. All that said, though, it has been a remarkable year, David. It has been, in the past 3 months, the events of the past 3 months, if you and I were sitting down talking 6 months ago and we said, well, this is going to happen, I think we both would have looked at each other and said, you're nuts, because it was completely off the wall. And it wasn't just, the fact that the CAC and Legault had the legs cut out from under him in terms of the polls and the by-election and the collapse, the very public political collapse of the CAC. But also the labor dispute, the fact the public remained foursquare behind the unions, which was rather unusual, given that usually there's a grace period of maybe a week, and then people say, oh, overpaid, underworked, we'll legislate them back to work, and that doesn't seem to have happened. But there's also I just got this feeling that we may be, how can I put it? In 2024, we may be on the verge of experiencing another 2018. In other words, we're going to have a lot of surprises, and nobody was expecting 2018 to end the way that it did. But I think we're getting a lot of various things are being telegraphed to us this year. That 2024 is certainly going to see a lot of changes in our basic lives. A lot of the legal challenges to the CAC's preposterous illegal laws are going to be heard. They'll be proceeding through the courts. And once again, we've noticed it doesn't take a special opposition. It just takes the wear and tear of daily use to see how frayed and how absolutely made of papier-mâché the CAC's legislative agenda is, that things are going to start falling apart. People that you don't usually hear about, you're going to be hearing from a lot more. And I think the old Kevlar vests that the CAC would wear were protecting French. Nobody's buying into that anymore. And no, I'm not just talking about our listeners. I think a growing number of Quebecers are saying, come on, get to work, do your job. I've got better things to do with my time. I'm looking after my French language very well, Mr. Legault. I'm not paying you to do that. I think it has been a harrowing, exhausting, sometimes brutal year. But on the other hand, I see reason for hope. I see reason for us to be optimistic. And when I say us, I am talking about our listeners. I am talking about English Quebec. That perhaps this nonsense, perhaps this very one-sided, one-man show has run its course, and the audience is slowly but surely getting up and heading for the exits.
I have the same sense. Also, I see it also on the Francophone side. I really, and every nationalist or independentist government, the PQ has hit that wall every time also when they were in power. Is at one point Quebecers say, okay, enough with, and I called it, and I think I was with you once, but I called it the chicane factor.
Yeah, exactly.
They're tired with, the bickering about language and the division, and they say, solve the basic problems, govern. 80% of Quebec's budget is health and education. Mm-hmm. Deal with that. Solve that. Govern at the most basic level. Help people. And I really agree with you on this. And there's hope in that.
Well, and what's funny is we just come out of a half hour of this show where we've shown how individuals, and yes, there's groups, whatever, but they don't exist without the will, without the determination of individuals helping other people. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a lot of these organizations, and we say, well, they're charities or they're nonprofits or whatever. Yeah, but they're still staffed with people, and these people are not getting rich doing that. No, they're doing it because they know there's a greater good to be served. And I tell you, it does me good to hear that, to know that those people are still out there, that those people are still being supported, and that despite the perhaps deserved cynicism that we reserve for our politicians and our political process, we are ready to listen, and we understand why people are doing that. And it's not like Francois Legault invented the word solidarité.
Oh, no.
And I don't think it's like, as he suggested, that this exists because of the Catholic Church. So I really think that there is, within everybody, I think there's an innate amount of goodness that gets tapped into. We don't hear about it enough. We hear about it perhaps on the last business day of 2023. But it's happening all the time. And that's another reason for us to be optimistic and another reason for us to have hope, because despite all of the obstacles, whether it's funding or whether it's the biggest obstacle, of course, is public indifference, these folks just keep on going. They don't stop.
Well, you just said it. Indifference, public indifference. I think the shift in 2024, and it's not just hope. I'm seeing it, and it's going to get bigger and bigger as we move forward. Just the individuals are going to step up. I think we've for a long time relied on others, on governments, on corporations, and we sort of taken it for granted that governments would just take care of everything. And now we're seeing that it's just not working. And we're going to have to get back involved in it, whether it's in politics, community groups, charities, whatever. But I really think it has to come back, because you said it also earlier. You said, well, all these charities, at the end of the day, it's about people, real individuals that make a difference locally around them.
Absolutely. And I really think that, a lot of people, especially when we talk about the government, we talk about, and a lot of callers will come in, but I'm sure a lot of people are thinking that and they're saying, well, what can I do? What can I do? Here's what you can do. Find out, first of all, who your local MNA is. It's not that difficult to do, okay? Yeah. Find out their phone number. And if you have a problem with this government, even if your MNA is a member of the CAC, pick up the phone, give them a piece of your mind. Ask him why X, Y, and Z is going on. And it's the same thing if they're a Liberal or a Quebec Solidaire. That's the first thing you can do. Because believe me, and you, I'm sure you're living proof of that.
Yes, I am.
Politicians are people too.
Yes.
And guess what? When someone lights a fire under a politician, it's the same thing as if someone lights a fire under a store manager, or someone lights a fire under a restaurant manager that you want to have service improved, or you want to have your concerns addressed. Guess what? That's how you do it.
And the MNA's office is your office.
Yep.
You can't be turned away.
You're paying for it.
You're paying for it. Yep. And it's your office, and that MNA represents you, regardless of your political affiliations or political beliefs. That person is the MNA of the entire riding. And so, yes, I think that's a great point you're making. Get involved.
Get involved. And the other thing as well, and I've mentioned this earlier this week, David, but, I really have a funny feeling that next year you're going to start hearing from a lot of members of the CAC caucus, the 89-member CAC caucus,
Mm-hmm.
You're going to start hearing more from them, which is not saying much because you've heard virtually nothing from them since the election. But I have a sneaking suspicion calls are being made. People are, and some of that is trickling through. And I think if these poll numbers keep going down, you are going to see perhaps a little more in the way of backbone emerging in the caucus meetings, which are closed door. But frankly, if they get brushed off by Legault, I have a sneaking suspicion we're going to be talking about people whose names we don't know right now, but whose names are going to be in the news, much to the dismay, perhaps, of the government of the day.
That is such a really great prediction because nobody has really talked about it directly, but I think the person of the year in Quebec politics, everybody's saying it's Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon, but I will say it's Joël Boutin, who was the M&A in that Jean Talon riding, who resigned at last spring because she was sick and tired of being part of a caucus that wasn't being heard or valued.
Yeah, absolutely, and I admire her stand.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she's unique.
No,
and
that's
yes,
it.
You know what? A lot of people jumped on that bandwagon back in 2022 because it was the CAC. They were unstoppable.
Right.
Guess what? The bandwagon may be headed to a cliff. So you may want to rethink your seating on that particular vehicle, and maybe trying to be a little more realistic just politically. But yeah, I don't think given and I know we're running out of time, but given the improvisation, given all the spit and bubblegum that has become the DNA of this government, I have a sneaking suspicion that something's going to give in 2024, David.
My gift to you, sir, for your birthday comes from Angela. She writes on the text line, "Hi, James. I love listening to you every day, and you are usually right in what you say all the time. Happy birthday, James. I want to wish you a happy new year, health, and happiness to you at yours. You are a good person doing good work, my friend, and it's always a pleasure to have a conversation with you, as it was throughout the year, and I wish you all the best next year."
I thank Angela, I thank you, David, and I thank Angela. She actually gave me now, because I've been, what is the title for my autobiography going to be? I think usually right.
Usually right would be perfect. So the next time we speak, we will be in 2024.
That's right. I'll see you next year, amigo.
Bonne année.
À toi aussi.
Merci beaucoup. À la prochaine. The Gazette's James Mennie.